This is the STV News, our top story this lunchtime. Nicola Sturgeon is under growing pressure to quit as Deputy First Minister after furious exchanges at Holyrood. Good afternoon. The First Minister, Alex Salmond, defended her decision to write a letter of support for a convicted fraudster. But all three main opposition parties attacked the move. We're live now to Holyrood and our political correspondent, Jamie Livingston.
John, this was one of the stormiest First Minister's questions I can remember. At one stage, the presiding officer, Alex Ferguson, struggled to maintain control of the chamber as MSPs hurled comments back and forth. Amid it all sat Nicola Sturgeon, the Deputy First Minister. She listened as her boss tried to defend her decision to write a letter of support for a convicted fraudster, Abdul Rauf. Now, Mr Salmond offered as deputy his 110% support, but Scottish Labour leader Ian Gray said that Mr Salmond and Ms Sturgeon are the only MSPs who believe she did the right thing.
In fact, I wonder, are there any other MSPs in this chamber willing to say that they would have written the same letter for the same man having committed the same crime? Put your hands up.
Where are they? Where are you?
The First Minister and his deputy seems to be...
Order.
The First Minister and his deputy seem to be on their own on this one.
Members of Parliament have to do their best for their constituents. They should do it without fear or favour, not because they condone their actions, not because they like them or dislike them, not because they vote for them or don't vote for them, but because they have a duty of care.
Well, Scottish Tory leader Annabel Goldie demanded that Ms Sturgeon comes to Parliament and makes a statement clarifying the situation. Tavish Scott, the Lib Dem leader, meanwhile, well, he's asked at what point, at what crime would somebody need to have committed before the SNP would reject such a request. Now, up till now, Ms Sturgeon has been one of the SNP's most respected and competent ministers, but be in no doubt at all, her job is on the line here, and this is no longer just damaging for her, it's also damaging for Alex Salmond.
Jamie at Holyrood, thank you. A false limbs expert could be struck off for allegedly fitting an artificial left foot to an amputee's right leg. Prosthetist Malcolm Griffiths, who was working at Edinburgh's Astley Ainsley Hospital at the time, is also accused of failing to spot the error during two further check-ups. He's been sacked by NHS Lothian, and his case is now being considered by the Health Professions Council. Edinburgh Council is currently debating budget cuts which unions say are amongst the most severe they've ever known. The local authority needs to save an additional £90 million over the next 3 years. It says it's already identified efficiency savings of around £30 million for the current year and claims it will protect frontline services. However, unions fear jobs will be outsourced and that service users will feel the brunt of the cuts.
Well, we're facing some of the biggest cuts any council has ever seen, 94 million over 3 years, about 30 million this year. But also, as well as that hitting frontline services, we have the outsourcing of services, the selling of Edinburgh's jobs to big conglomerates elsewhere. And, of course, our members are facing huge cuts in conditions because of a botched modernising pay system.
Well, savings have to be made across the board, but we're managing to this time to keep them as far as possible away from the frontline services. We have prioritised children, the more vulnerable people, the elderly and so on, at the expense of bureaucracy.
Homeowners in Scotland could be given greater protection against repossession under new measures being discussed by MSPs. The Homeowners and Debtor Protection Bill is designed to make it more difficult for homes to be seized when the owners fall into debt. The legislation, if passed, would mean all repossession cases would have to be heard in court. It will be voted on at the Scottish Parliament later this afternoon. Well, that's the news and sports. Now Sean has your weather forecast.
Change your outlook with your local airline. Flybe, sponsors of STV Weather.
A very good afternoon to you. Well, there's certainly a little bit more cloud around today than there was this time yesterday, more so towards the north and the east, but in the west, still some fairly decent breaks in the cloud. I'd imagine we'll hold on to some Fairly decent spells of sunshine around the Argyll area and towards Ayrshire, and also Dumfries and Galloway, also around Renfrewshire and Glasgow and Inverclyde here. Some fairly decent breaks as well. But the further north and east we head, more cloud here, but it should stay largely dry, just the chance of a few showers down towards the borders, and temperatures ranging from 3s, 4s, perhaps up to around 6s as we head out towards Argyll and Bute. Then through this evening and tonight, most of the clouds should start to break up. It is going to allow for another cold night, a few isolated showers, so there is the possibility of some icy patches. Then throughout tomorrow, a fairly cloudy start to the day, but it should still be fairly bright. Into the afternoon, though, we'll find sunny spells developing and temperatures similar to today.
Change your outlook with your local airline. Flybe, sponsors of STV Weather.
And that's all for now. The STV News will be back at 6 with all your news and sports. You can, of course, keep up to date throughout the afternoon on our website. Enjoy the sunshine. We'll see you this evening. Bye-bye for now.